In this video, I'll show you how to make a simple timer to control events. And when I say simple, I mean simple. We're just going to create an int variable called time that starts at 0, and then every single time the draw loop runs, we'll just add 1 to time. Let's just display to make sure we know what's happening. So if I display time in a print statement, you'll see that as the traditional bouncing ball code runs, oh, I'm running the wrong game, hold on. Okay, so you'll see that as the traditional bouncing ball code runs, timer is just counting up here. So let's use it to control something. I'm going to remove the print statement. So let's say that I want to reset the position of the ball every, 5 seconds. So I said that the loop is running about 30 times a second. So if 30 times 5, so that's about the number I should expect time to be at after 5 seconds. So if time is bigger than 30 times 5, then I want to reset the ball position. How do I reset the ball? Let's reset it randomly. Let's set the X position to be random times the width of the screen. And let's set the Y position to be random times the height of the screen. And then just to make it interesting, let's flash the background red at the same time that it happens, just to create some visual interest. So I've removed the print statement, so you won't see it counting up, but let's count. Oh, what is happening? Okay, let's try again. Here we go. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but then it goes into rage mode. Like what has happened? What's happened is we got to the right time and it reset its position, but it didn't flash red. And the reason it didn't flash red is because we didn't reset the timer. As soon as the time reached the time for the event, it just kept counting up from there. So the last thing we want to do is set time back to 0. And that will start the count over again and let us count up again to this event. So let's watch. Okay, so after 5 seconds, there it flashed red and reset, but it also set the timer. So now we've restarted from the beginning. What if there was a second ball and I wanted to reset that one's position on a separate timer? Like I wanted it to do something independently. In that case, well, you got two choices. Well, you really just have one choice, I guess. We should probably use a second timer variable because this time variable is getting reset every 5 seconds as the first ball gets reset. So if we want the second ball to reset like every 3 seconds, for example, we couldn't use this same variable because it would mess it up when we reset the time variable. So let's make a second time variable, time 2. It starts at 0. Time 2, we're going to add to the time. And then here we could have a second set of if statements where we say if time 2 is 30 times 3. So we're going to reset every 3 seconds. And then I'm going to reset my second timer back to 0, and I'm going to change the coordinates of my second ball. So now you can see every 3 seconds, the green one is moving, but every 5 seconds, the red one is moving. And if we wanted to make it actually much faster, let's make the green one move every single second. So you can see the green one's moving 5 times for every single time the red one is moving. There's nothing that says that the timer has to count up. If you wanted to, you could start the timer at like 500 and you could have it count down. So we're going to subtract 1 every loop, and we'll say that if the timer equals 0, if we've counted all the way down to 0, that's when something happens. And then if you wanted to, you could have a text statement that actually displays the countdown. So we're going to display time left, and then timer 2, and then let's display it, somewhere random. Okay, so this isn't going to look nice, but it's going to illustrate the idea, I think. So you see that the time is counting down, and then when it gets to 0, that's exactly when the green timer is going to move, except I'm not actually resetting it. Okay, so there it's moved, but now the time is negative. So I could reset the timer here to like 500, for example. Or let's reset it to like 100. So now you'll see every 100 loops, well, I guess we got to count all the way down, but then every 100 loops after that, green is going to reset and it'll say time left 100. So there you can see it counting down. Let's end by doing something slightly more complicated. Let's say that instead of having the ball bounce, we want to move it in a fixed action pattern. So we can also use a timer for that. Let's say I want the ball to move just left and then right, but according to a certain set of timings. So I'm going to say if time is bigger than 0 and time is less than 100. So if time is between 0 and 100, I'm going to set x speed to be equal to 3. Otherwise, if time is bigger than 100 and time is less than 200, then I'll set x speed to -1. But let's make this actually 3 times as long. So 100, 200, 300, 400. So this is go right from t equals 0 to t equals 100. That's what that if statement's going to do. And then I'm going to go left from t equals 100 to t equals 400. But I'm going left much slower. And then if I want to restart the process all over again, I've got to set the timer back to 0. So now time is counting up, but I'm controlling my speed. I'm setting my speed to be different depending on what time interval I'm in. And I actually deleted my x equals x plus x speed statement, so let's put that back in. But I'm going to set my y speed to be 0. So let's set x speed and y speed to be 0 to start with. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. And actually, let's display the timer again as well. So let's put that at 100, 100, and then I'm going to fill with 0, and I'm going to have text size 32. Okay. So you can see now, oh, I should have started the ball somewhere that was closer on the screen. Okay, here we go. So you can see now we're counting up to, oh, why did I reset it? Oh, I reset the time at the wrong moment. I only want to reset the time if it's bigger than 400. Okay, so here I'm saying if we're between 0 and 100, go right. If we're between 100 and 400, go left. As soon as we're bigger than 400, we're going to start over again from the very beginning. All right, that should be good. So we're going to count up to 100. Now we're going left. Counting up, go left. So you see that we've got this like nice fixed action pattern happening. If we wanted to, we could make it travel in a square in a similar way. I'm going to pause the video and make the changes. Okay, here we go. So if time is between 0 and 100, we're going to go right, which means positive x speed and no y speed, because we don't want it to go up and down. Then if time is between 100 and 200, we're going to go down, which means we want to stop the x speed because we don't want to go left or right anymore, and we want to set the y speed to positive, so we'll go down. Then between 200 and 300, we'll go left. Then between 300 and 400, we'll go up, and then we're going to reset. So every 100 steps, we're going to change direction, and we're going to go right, down, left, up, repeat. So this should move the circle in a square pattern. So, oh, we've gone off the screen, but there I'm repeating. Here, let's make it so that I'm not going down so fast. Let's actually make it go down slower and go up slower. Okay, let's try it again. So I go right, down, left, up in a fixed action pattern. So if you want to, you can use that idea to create more interesting things for your enemies. Before, like if you want a different action pattern for all of your enemies, then you would need different timers. I hope that this has been helpful.